The first 60 seconds of a insurance phone call are the most important. I'm going to teach you 5 ways to make sure you can control the first 60 seconds every single time. This will be the most valuable sales training video we've ever done, and it can revolutionize your phone call and your entire career. So stick with me as I do this live from the Palazzo Parigi balcony in Milan, Italy, as my wife and I are on a tour de Italy, Rome, Florence, Milan, Venice with our power players, and then Cancun for an agency incentive trip. And so we are going around the world. We're out of town for 3 weeks, but I wanted to stop and get you some content. So make sure that you tune in and take really good notes. You're going to want a pad and a pen. Number 1, okay, and why is this important? First of all, before I even get into some of the training, the first 60 seconds are crucial. Okay, it's the first 60 seconds are more important than the last 60 seconds. The first 60 seconds are more important than your ability to fact find and close, because if you cannot nail this down, you will never get the opportunity to keep them engaged, keep them on the phone, ask the right questions, build rapport, and then eventually recommend a solution to solve their problem. However, the first 60 seconds are crucial. Also, if you love this video, make sure you send this to someone else, because I'm telling you, it will also change their career and the way they train on the phone. Okay, number 1 is tone. Okay, the very first piece is tone. I don't talk about tone enough. We talk about control in the first 60 seconds. Tone is crucial. Here's what I mean. If you come in hot and you're like, "Hey, Betty Smith, this is Cody asking with Secure and how are you?" Right? That's tone and pacing, really, right? Too fast. Or maybe too aggressive or too loud, or, "Hey, is this Betty?" Right? Too slow, right? I want you thinking about tone, but I also want you thinking about pacing. If you're calling final expense leads, like our leads at CABOOM, which are crushing it right now, if you think about that, we're thinking about tone, tonality, right? We're talking people 50, 60, 70, 80 years old. Tone is important, but also pacing of how fast you move. So I want you recording your phone calls, re-listening to your phone calls, because what I want you to think about is not only the tone in which you are speaking, but also the pacing of how fast or how slow you are talking. I'm going to give you some real examples as I go through this, but an example of tone immediately is, "Hello, Betty." "Hey, Betty, this is Cody." Right? Very simple. So, I've always heard like soft, slow and controlled. Right? Slow and controlled. Okay, I don't want to be too fast, because then it feels like I'm a telemarketer. I'm trying to talk too fast, right? When you speed up, they start to be like, "Oh my gosh, I can't keep up," right? You want them keeping up. You also want to give them as little information as possible in the first 60 seconds, by the way, not more. That is a misnomer. Most people think that you should be giving them more information. I'm here to tell you, the more information you give them, the less likely they will follow and stick with you as you go through the rest of the phone call. That's why I want to give them as little information in the first 60 seconds as I possibly can. Okay, because I'm wanting to keep control. And the more information I give them, the more they can rebuttal, the more they can speak back, the more they can take charge, the more they can jump in and interject or give me an objection. So the first 60 seconds are crucial. Again, less information, the better. But I'm thinking about tone and pacing. And that's why I used to record all of my sales calls and re-listen when I would call leads, because I wanted to hear my tone. And the same way, the tone and pacing I used to do videos is not the same tone and pacing I do to call leads, by the way. Okay, 2 very different Codys, even though they both work, right? Tonality, right? Tonality. How loud, how soft. Do you really like when you're asking questions, how are you finishing it? Does that make sense? Nah. Does that make sense? Right? So much better. Again, you got to listen to all these little things, because they do matter. And if you're getting a lot of objections, or you're going to call, or people are hanging up on you, this is extremely crucial. So first is tone and pacing. Okay, if that makes sense, give me a yes in comments below. Second, number 2 is their name. The way I use a script is, "Hello, Betty?" Yeah. Because what happens is when SiriusXM calls me and they say, "Hey, is this Cody?" Dude, if I don't want to talk to him, I'm going to say, "Oh, no, this is not Cody. You must have the wrong number." If you ever have, that's why our CABOOM leads are crushing it, because people can never say they have the wrong number. They can never say they didn't do it, because they receive a 6-digit security code to their cell phone. Prospects do, and they have to go back into their funnel, the survey funnel, and put their 6-digit security code in to verify it's actually them and it's their real cell phone number, which is why, again, all of this, the leads you're working and how you're controlling the first 60 seconds, is all about not getting lied to and getting in control of the call. So that's why when I talk about their name, I don't say their last name, I just say their first name. And when the lead says Betty and she verified her cell phone number with a 6-digit security code and a female answers the phone, hello, Betty? Very simple, right? Smooth tone, smooth pacing. Hello, Betty? Very simple, and I'm saying their name. Their last name is irrelevant. Again, back to, if I give them too much information, they're not going to follow, so do not give them more information than they need. Okay, this is a huge mistake that most of you make, right? If you make that mistake, let me know in comments below, okay? Their name, or if you've never heard something like this and you're like, bro, this is blowing my mind, I want to hear from you in comments below what you like, but I also want you to share this thing out so other people around the world can watch this thing. Also, we have more insurance agents in London actually watching our content than any other city in the world, as I come from Milan today. Maybe we'll get more people from Milan, Italy, watching our videos and consuming our content. I would also love to know where you're watching from in comments as you're checking this out, okay, if you're enjoying this. Second is their name, okay? Third is your name. Hello, Betty? Yeah, this is Cody. Boom, that's it. I'm not giving my last name, I'm not giving a company name, I'm keeping it very simple and very basic. Only reason you want to use company name is if they're a current client, maybe they're an orphan client, maybe they don't have an agent, but they're still with the same company. Maybe you're starting out with me, like me, you're captive or career or something like that. And so I don't use company name because it's a way for them to interject real quick. If I say this is Cody Askins with Askins Insurance Group, who is Askins Insurance Group? Or why are you calling me? Or I didn't ask for this. I don't know who you are. I don't have anything with that company, right? It gives them a chance to interject, which is a huge problem when we're talking about controlling the first 60 seconds. You want them to interject as little as possible. You are in control. You are the one speaking. In the first 60 seconds, you speak more. In most of a sales call, I want them to speak more than I do, by the way, okay? But not in the first 60 seconds. Them speaking more is actually a disaster. I want them to speak more. I want them to speak more than me throughout the whole sales call. And if they speak more than me, I've got a sale. If I speak more than them, I don't have a sale. That's not true for the first 60 seconds. Okay, that's not true. It's your job to gain control of the call. Does this make sense? Okay, is this incredible or what? Number 3, your name. This is Cody. Simple, tone, pacing. 4, getting back to you. Hello, Betty? Yeah, this is Cody. I'm getting back to you. Boom. Immediately into it, right? I'm getting back to you about your request for information about, okay, very simple. Very, very clean and simple. Getting back to you also shows that you are getting back to them. You're not a random telemarketer. You're not just randomly calling them out of the blue. You're getting back to them because they requested information and you are trying to get them the information that they requested. Very different. Like our CABOOM Leads at CABOOMLeads.com, which we're rapidly approaching over 1,000 orders a month now. We're helping agents all over the country. It's crazy. But people are requesting information, right? They're raising their hand and saying, please help me. They're watching a whole video. They're filling out 12, 14, 15 fields, verifying their cell number with a security code, which is stupid. And then guess what? Boom, they're requesting information, so you are getting back to them. So number 4 is, that's my favorite phrase. Hello, Betty? Betty, this is Cody. I'm getting back to you. Also, too, I didn't mention this. There's a few nuggets in here that I don't have written down, but I'm saying that their name is the most important, the most valuable word in the English language, or any language in the world, I guess, really, since I'm in Italia today, is their name, right? Their name. People love to hear their name. Dude, I love hearing the name Cody. What is your name? I want to know your name in comments below because we love hearing our name. Tell me if I'm wrong. We love hearing our name, okay? What is their name, right? Hello, Betty? Yes, Betty, this is Cody. I'm getting back to you about your request for more information about final expenses, right? Hello, Betty. Yes, Betty, this is Cody. I'm getting back to you about your request for final expense information. Now, Betty, right? Then, because I'm not pausing, okay? Then I'm finishing with a question to confirm some information, because what happens is here's the example of the wrong call, okay? Hello, is this Betty Smith? Are you Betty Smith? Is Betty Smith available? Hello, I'm looking for Betty Smith, right? Whatever, right? We're asking questions to see if it's them. It shows that you do not know who they are. When you are calling as if you are a friend that is simply calling someone back, right? Very different versus all those don't ask if it's them. Dude, you know it's them. I know it's them. And here's the example of a wrong call. Hello, is this Betty? Hey Betty, this is Cody Askins with Askins Insurance Group. How are you today? Oh my gosh, bro. Terrible, right? And also your agency manager upline scripts that are telling you to say this kind of stuff are not good. It doesn't work, right? So in those examples, how are you today? I'm not good. Why are you calling me? Yeah, I'm calling you back because you requested more information about you went online and said you wanted a quote for life insurance. And then we pause and we wait for a response. And then that is like saying, Betty, please insert an objection here. Please take control of the call here. Please hang up on me here. Please say something stupid here. Please do that now, right? No. You are finishing with a question because questions keep you in control. So here's the example of a right call from start to finish, because again, the first 60 seconds are so crucial. Hopefully you get what I'm saying now, right? Most important part by far, and I believe this is the best for the initial part of a phone call. This would be the best video you've ever seen on YouTube, period, right? Right here, okay? And let me know in the comments below what you think. But here's an example of the right call. Hello, Betty? Betty, this is Cody. I'm getting back to you about your request for more information about final expenses. Now, Betty, you listed your favorite, oh, wow, cool. You listed your favorite hobby as fishing. How long have you been fishing? Not, do you fish? No, they said they're fishing, right? Like, I'm not asking questions that I already know the answer to. I'm confirming information or getting them to admit, yeah, I've been fishing for 12 years. Amazing. My father-in-law loves to fish, right? I don't fish, so I'm not going to say, oh my gosh, I love fishing, because that would be a lie. But guess what? My father-in-law, Paul, loves fishing. So if that's the case, then I'm going to reference and mention that because it's true. But again, I'm finishing with a question. Or, because CABOOM Leads would give you a hobby, but let's just say you're working, I don't know, some random shared garbage internet lead, and it's not kaboom, let's just say it's something different. Okay, if it's something different, then you may say, hello, Betty. Betty, this is Cody. Getting back to you about your request for more information about final expense programs in your area. Now, Betty, you not only mentioned your favorite hobby and gave us a bunch of your information, but you listed that you live in the state of Texas. How long have you lived in Texas? Right? Again, I'm confirming the information, but I'm going back to what they provided, and I'm finishing with a question to take control of the call. Here's one of the things I want to add too. Big nugget, big note. Anytime anytime I speak, I finish with a question. Not like question like curious, like Betty? No. Like when I am done talking, I am finishing with a question. 100% of the time on the phone. The biggest killer of the first 60 seconds in controlling calls and in agents getting all this stuff is because agents are pausing without finishing with a question. Pausing is the death of a phone call. If you go back and listen to your phone calls, you are violating a bunch of these rules and a bunch of things I'm sharing today. This stuff works like gold. If you don't believe me, I got another video called How to Nail the First 30 Seconds of a Phone Call. I give away some of this. This one's better, but that one has 250,000 views in the first 5 years, right? This one's better. However, I'm going to finish with a question 100% of the time when I speak. I need them responding to me, not the other way around. Biggest mistake agents make is that they violate a lot of this, but they're constantly feel like they're on the defensive. No, I'm in the driver's seat. I'm in control. They're responding to me. It's the other way around. The call and the process and the sell are not going to go the way that I want them to. So if you think about that, I want you to think about how to control the first 60 seconds, tone and pacing, their name, your name, getting back to you, and finishing with a question. If you enjoyed this, let me know what your favorite part was in comments below. Also, we have a bunch of courses, right? You can go to CodyAskins.com and check out all the different courses we have to help agents with different parts of the sales process, okay, that dive even much deeper than this, even with some audio recordings and stuff. Also, if you haven't tried our leads at CABOOM Leads, CABOOMLeads.com, I'll put the link below. You can use coupon code YouTube to get 10% off your very first order. You got to try our leads. You need weekly leads to succeed. And when you get weekly leads, you got to learn how to control the first 60 seconds of an insurance phone call. See you on the next video. I'm going to get back to my tour, Day Italy. See you soon.